Chapter 4, Lesson 1. Main Ideas. Government. The Umayyads expand Muslim rule to the east and westward into Europe. Government. The Umayyads built a unified empire based on a strong government, a common language, and a common coinage. Government. By 750, religious and political differences caused the Muslim empire to split. The expansion of Muslim rule. Build on what you know. You might have seen on the television news that when a leader dies or resigns, a power struggle follows to determine his or her successor. After Muhammad died, several groups fought for control of the Muslim world. In 661, the Umayyad family won this power struggle. The Umayyads built a great empire with Damascus as its capital. Expansion under the Umayyads. Essential question. What lands did the Umayyads add to the Muslim empire? Once the Umayyads had taken control, they began to conquer new lands. In less than 100 years, the empire spanned parts of 3 continents, Asia, Africa, and Europe. Expansion to the east. Under the Umayyads, the Muslim empire expanded. When they took power in 661, the empire's eastern boundary extended into Persia. They quickly pushed that border farther eastward into Central Asia. At first, the Umayyad army staged hit-and-run raids, attacking such cities as Bukhara and Samarkand. These were the region's major trading centers. Soon, however, occasional raids turned into organized campaigns for conquest. By the early 700s, the Umayyads had taken control of much of Central Asia. Westward expansion. The Umayyads also expanded the empire to the west. By 710, they controlled the whole of North Africa from the Nile River to the Atlantic Ocean. The following year, they moved northward across the Mediterranean Sea into the Iberian Peninsula. The Iberian Peninsula is the southward tip of Europe, where the modern nations of Spain and Portugal are located. Using military force and treaties, they took control of nearly all of the peninsula. From strongholds in Spain, Muslim forces launched raids ever deeper into Europe. However, Christian forces stopped their advance in 732 at the Battle of Tours. Over the next few years, Muslim forces retreated back to Spain. Uniting many peoples. Essential question. How did the Umayyads build a unified empire? By the early 700s, the Umayyads controlled a huge empire that covered many lands. As a result, Umayyad leaders needed to take steps to unite and govern the many peoples of this far-flung empire. The Umayyad government. The Umayyads patterned their government on the bureaucracy used in the lands they won from the Byzantine Empire. A bureaucracy is a system of departments and agencies that carry out the work of the government. Umayyad caliphs, through this bureaucracy, ruled the entire empire from their capital city of Damascus. To rule the different provinces of the empire, the caliphs appointed Muslim governors called emirs. These emirs relied on local clan leaders to help them govern. Working with local leadership helped the Umayyads win support in lands far from Damascus. A common language and coinage. At first, language served as a barrier to unity in the empire. People in different parts of the empire spoke their own languages. Abdul Malik, who became caliph in 685, solved this problem. He declared Arabic the language of government for all Muslim lands. Having a common language for government helped people throughout the empire communicate more easily with other regions. Even so, most Muslims still spoke their own languages in everyday life. Around 700, Abdul Malik further unified the empire by introducing a common coinage. Coins were engraved with Arabic quotations from the Quran. The coins helped the spread and acceptance of Islam in the Arabic language. They also made commerce among the different parts of the empire much easier. The pilgrimage. Muslims from all across the empire made the pilgrimage, or Hajj, to Mecca. On the Hajj, pilgrims shared their languages and cultures. In addition, they brought knowledge of the Arabic culture and the Umayyad rule back to their homelands. So the pilgrimage helped bring about the blending of many different cultures. The overthrow of the Umayyads. Essential question: what caused the Muslim empire to split? The Umayyads conquered many new lands and brought Islam to large numbers of people. By the mid-700s, however, the Umayyads faced major challenges to their rule. Rising protests. Some Muslims felt that the Umayyads did not take their duties as leaders of Islam seriously. They accused the Umayyads of being too interested in living a life of luxury and holding on to power. Over time, different groups throughout the empire began to protest Umayyad rule. The Abbasids. One group, the Abbasids, gained support from other Muslims who opposed the Umayyads. By 750, these combined forces had taken power. According to some historians, the Abbasids invited Umayyad leaders to a meeting to talk about peace. At that meeting, the Umayyads were murdered. Only one prominent Umayyad, Abdul ar-Rahman, escaped this ambush. He fled to Spain. There, he re-established the Umayyad dynasty. After this, the Muslim empire was permanently split into eastern and western sections. Lesson summary. The Umayyads rose to control all Muslims and create a huge empire. Umayyad caliphs created a large bureaucracy to serve the far-flung Muslim lands. Religious and political differences among Muslim groups eventually ended Umayyad rule. Why it matters now. Muslims continue to learn the Arabic language in order to practice their religion, as they did in Umayyad times.